Edwin C. Barnes harnessed the power of thought to become a business partner of the great Thomas Edison. Two of the chief characteristics of Barnes' thought were that it was definite and purposeful thought. Two difficulties stood in Barnes' way. He did not know Mr. Edison and did not have the means to travel to Orange, New Jersey to meet him. These difficulties were sufficient to have discouraged the majority of people, but his thought was no ordinary. It was coupled with persistence and burning desire. Barnes was so determined to find a way to achieve his goal that he finally decided to travel by blind baggage via freight train. He presented himself at Mr. Edison's laboratory and announced that he had come to go into business with the inventor. In speaking of the first meeting between Barnes and Edison, years later, Mr. Edison said, "He stood there before me, looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in the expression on his face that conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. I gave him the opportunity he asked for because I saw he had made up his mind to stand by until he succeeded." Subsequent events proved that no mistake was made. He did get a chance to work in the Edison offices, at a very nominal wage, doing work that was unimportant to Edison, but most important to Barnes, because it gave him an opportunity to prove himself. Months went by. Apparently, nothing happened to bring the coveted goal. He was constantly intensifying his desire to become a business associate of Edison. When one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for a business association with Edison. Moreover, he was determined to remain ready until he got that which he was seeking. He did not say to himself, well, what's the use? I guess he'll change my mind and try for a salesman's job. But, he'd say, I came here to go into business with Edison, and he'll accomplish this end if it takes the remainder of my life. He meant it. What a different story people would have to tell if only they would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. Maybe young Barnes did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination, his persistence in pursuing a desire was destined to mow down all opposition and bringing the opportunity he was seeking. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes in the form of misfortune, or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize the opportunity, disguised in. Mr. Edison had just perfected a new office device, known at that time, as the Edison dictating machine, later called the Ideaphone. His salespeople were not enthusiastic about the machine. They did not believe it could be sold without great effort. Barnes saw his opportunity. It had crawled in quietly, hidden in a queer-looking machine that interested no one but Barnes and the inventor. Barnes knew, definite purpose fueled by persistence and burning desire, that he could sell the Edison dictating machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. He did sell the machine. In fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Out of that business association grew the slogan, "Made by Edison on installed by Barnes." Out of this business alliance, Barnes made himself wealthy, but he accomplished something infinitely greater. He proved that one really may think and grow rich. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison. He thought himself into a fortune. He had nothing to start with, no money or influence, and little education. But he did have initiative, faith, and the will to win. He knew what he wanted and was determined to stand by that desire until he realized it. With these intangible forces, he made himself the number one man with the greatest inventor who ever lived. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison.